Hello everyone, this is Venom, and we are back for week 3 of Starfield, and we've got more tips and tricks for you today. Some of these you may know already, some are kind of basic, some are a bit more advanced, or you just may not have known them. So, if you like what we're doing here, please subscribe to the channel, like the video if you like what you hear, and let's get on to the first tip. Now, the first two actually are going to be pretty easy ones. You may know, you may have already figured these out from the beginning of the game, but your room at the lodge, if you've gone ahead and talked to Noel and gotten your room, the safe in your room has got infinite storage. This is one that a lot of people know. I myself personally did not know until about the second week, but I forgot to mention in my last video. So the safe does have infinite storage. And tip number 2, along with that infinite storage, you've actually got all the workbenches in the game in the basement of the lodge, okay? So if you want to craft stuff, you don't feel like making a bunch of crafting benches or certain modules for your ship, you've got all those crafting benches in the basement of the lodge. So keep that one in mind. Those tips 1 and 2. And as a little bonus tip, there's also a mission terminal in the basement of the lodge as well. So tip number 3, there are 2 different kinds of time in the game. There's universal time and there is local time. Whenever you wait, you're waiting in local time. However, the game passes in universal time. That brings me to what this tip is. On Venus, for every hour you wait local time, 100 hours will pass universal time. Now, why is that important? Well, for one, it lets you wait a long time in a relatively short amount of time, but you may not see a use for that yet until you see tip number 4. If you want to level up or make a lot of money, you can make AMP on the starting planet of Jemison. Here in the background, you can actually see I got an outpost, and I am actually making AMP at this outpost. Now, how does that tie into tip number 3? Well, I've got a bunch of containers and a bunch of gatherers pretty much gathering all the items I need in one spot to make AMP. When I wait 24 hours on Venus, it actually waits 2,400 hours universal time, which means by waiting 1 day on Venus, it fills up all the containers I've got for all 3 resources I need to make AMP. This works with anything you want to make or any kind of resource that you're gathering. So if you want to gather a lot of resource, just make a lot of storage containers. Wait on Venus a day, maybe 2. You will come back and your resources will be full. Tip number 5. No matter how overencumbered you are, the personal atmospheric power will allow you to move without losing oxygen. There is actually no weight limit in the game, as far as I've seen. You can hold as many items or as much weight as you want to. However, the more overweight you are, the quicker your oxygen runs out. Now, if you have the personal atmospheric power, using that will give you infinite, and I do mean infinite, run time or moving time without losing oxygen. Now, that being said, it's only going to last until it runs out, but of course you can just restart it again once it runs out. And you can get back to your ship, get back to where you want to sell, whatever you want to do. Tip 6. You do not actually have to fly your ship from the cockpit. Now, to actually fly and dogfight, you need to be in the cockpit. However, you can actually travel using the navigation panel if you have one in your ship. A lot of modules will have it, or some of the bigger cockpits will have it. You can actually go to your navigation panel and navigate the universe from there. Now, you can't dogfight from there, unfortunately, but if you want to have a bit more immersion, say, pretend you're on a capital ship and navigate from there, you can do so. Tip number 7, this is a bigger one. If you have stolen items and you want to make them clean, you want to make them usable, you can sell any stolen items you have in the game to the Trade Authority. Now, this is something you could do in older games. You can sell stolen items. However, when you bought them back, if you could, you would typically have to buy them back at the full price, the full buyer's price. However, whatever you sell to the Trade Authority, if it is stolen, if you then go to the buyback without exiting the menu, if you go to buyback, you will be able to buy back that item for the exact same price you sold it for. Usually pretty cheap, and it will be clean. So if you want to clean any stolen items, sell them to the Trade Authority, and then buy them right back from the buyback menu. And my final tip for the night, if you want to farm legendaries, all you have to do is find yourself a legendary enemy, get them down to 1 hit, save, and then go ahead and kill them, check to see what they have, and if you do not like what they drop, reload the game. You will be right back in front of the same enemy with 1 shot, shoot them, and then rinse and repeat until you get them to drop something that you want. You can see me doing so in the background. I actually came away with a decent item when I was done with all this, but yeah, just save in front of an enemy when you get them down to 1 hit, kill them. If you like what they got, great. If not, reload it, rinse and repeat, and you can farm legendaries really easily this way. Alright, that's going to do it for tonight, guys. Again, these were some tips and tricks for Starfield. Again, the game has been out for a while, so a lot of the tips and tricks are starting to die down. People are kind of getting used to the systems. They've seen what most of the items are. They've seen what most of the tips are. So, for the most part, we're going to be bringing you mods here soon and probably a playthrough. So, that being said, please subscribe to the channel if you like what we're doing. Again, like if you like what you saw in the video or if you learned something new. If you got any tips of your own, please leave them down in the comments below, and we will see you later.